Maul is up against, we talked about him earlier, Pong Krell.
Like, I don't care if Maul is a Sith. I want to see Pong Krell
Yeah.
get just demolished. Yes.
Always remember.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. General Kenobi say it back, and welcome back to another episode of Determined Focus. I am Will of Will of the Force, one half of Determined Focus, joined by my lovely co-host Grayson. Focus One. Grayson, we have a pretty special guest with us tonight.
Yes, we do. Someone that we are both very big fans of, and you probably watching are as well. Even if somehow you've stumbled here and you're not a fan of Star Wars, which would be kind of crazy, we are joined by none other than Noshir Dalal, a very seasoned, I would say performance capture actor, voice actor. We'll just say actor because I think that's what I would say. Dude, thank you for being here. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh man, thanks so much for having me. Meeting you guys. What was that? Rebels Come?
Yeah.
That was it was really cool getting a chance to talk to you guys. So that we get to revisit all that is awesome.
Yeah, well, we're super appreciative. It was one of the highlights of the con for us.
Yeah.
The first question I got for you, and this is kind of also just not even you as an actor, but also you as someone who has a deep appreciation for storytelling. I would love to know for you, whether you are auditioning for a character in whatever project it is, or you are just consuming a story. To you, what makes a character great, or better put, magnetic?
Oh man, I think I'm usually looking for the ugly in a character. I think when I was like a young up and coming actor, I was super interested in looking cool and looking like, like the super tough, strong, whatever guy. And as I kind of became an actor who sucked less, I kind of realized that that's actually not interesting at all. That's good for my ego as an actor and absolute garbage for storytelling, because my job as a storyteller is to share in a public way facets of my character that most people will only experience in private and will want to keep private, right? Like, it's kind of why social media is so dangerous, right? Like, you see like the best parts of everyone put forward, and it's like, and you get a lot of people on there feeling so alone because they're like, I'm not successful. I'm not like, my life isn't super cool like this. My job is to show those the struggles, the uglier sides that we tend to keep to ourselves, so that other people out there realize like they're not the only ones feeling these things. You know what I mean? That's what storytelling is all about. And so that's what I look for. And if it's not already in the script, which generally speaking, most of my work is video games. Video game writing's become so sophisticated now, it's almost never an issue. But if it isn't in there naturally, I will put it in there in the performance. Because otherwise I'm not kind of doing what I do. And so why would I do it? You know what I mean?
Do you remember the first character that got into that grittier, uglier side that like really was like, oh, it clicked. I get it now.
Oh man, I don't know that I've ever had that. Like, I
Really?
don't think I've never been like, I've got this. You know what I mean? I always leave a project like, oh man, I hope people don't hate this. Like it's just like, there's a reason I don't watch my performances, and there's a reason I don't play my games.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
I lost crazy sleep over some roles like Charles Smith in Red Dead. I was like, people are going to hate this, and especially because of who Charles is and what he represents. That was like I'd really taken that role to heart, and I really wanted to do it justice, and I just didn't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm so grateful that so many people, were were moved by his story. So
Yeah.
that's always a big sigh of relief. I don't think I've had any like real like, man, you totally screw that up kind of. I mean, I guess people will say that about Bode, but they're talking about they don't like what happened to
Yes.
Bode, not necessarily my portrayal. Usually, I hope not usually my
Yeah.
portrayal of Bode, and
Yeah.
that Bode upsets people. I am 100% okay with.
Yeah, it's kind of the point. Well, I'll just say and affirm, as I'm sure many others have, that so my first introduction with you was for the English dub for Sekiro as
Oh,
Wolf, and then of course when Red Dead 2 came out, I was already a huge Red Dead fan, and I was like, Charles is my favorite character in the game. He is awesome, and I
uh,
walked through that game and I was like, that was Wolf, and then it just of course snowballed from there. So I personally think that you nailed those aspects.
We've been talking for about 6 minutes, and we've already listed off 100 things that you've been involved in.
Yeah.
Which the list only gets longer. But if we really could take a time machine back to where you were like, hey, I think I want to pursue acting and getting into this field, what was that thing that made you want to dip a toe in initially?
Oh man, you're gonna regret asking this question. So I had no interest in becoming an actor originally. Like I didn't go to school for it. You couldn't pay me to get on a stage. If I was getting on a stage, it was for like either my martial arts stuff or for breakdancing performances or something like that. But like uh, basically, I was a brain and cognitive sciences major at Cornell University, and I'd been a straight A student all through high school, and like my plan just kind of like, I don't know if like it was just kind of like, well, I mean, like I'm Asian on both sides, so it was like, I mean, I'm gonna be a doctor, like
Yeah.
that's a no-brainer.
That's funny.
And kind of became really lost at university because I realized like I wasn't getting a lot of joy from like I loved everything I studied, and the idea of going like the pre-med track and only the pre-med track like actually really bothered me because it felt like it wouldn't allow me the opportunity to explore all these amazing things that hopefully your higher education is meant to be for,
Mhm.
And then I got really sick. Well, I'm gonna truncate this. The doctors like essentially told me like, okay, you've got like a year and a half. Your
Whoa.
blood cell count is just like cratering. So
Wow.
I refused to leave school because I was that like super type A guy who like I didn't want to graduate behind my class. That seemed like a huge failure for me. And now like as an older guy, I'm like, well, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those kind of things when you're young are like your egos, at least my ego was just running overclocked.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the dean of arts and sciences was like, I am kicking you out on medical leave. Like you're like you're not dying on my campus. So I went back to Rochester where I'd grown up, and they had an oncology center there. They thought I had leukemia. They thought I had lymphoma. They couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And they were talking about removing my spleen and all this other stuff. And I was getting really scared. And I called my Kung Fu master, and I told him, I was like, master, I'm really scared. They're talking about like taking on my organs and stuff, and like that I don't have a lot of time. I don't know what to do. Expecting him to, I don't know what I was expecting to do. But he was like, well, Noshir, you're all fire and no water. Like you do everything 110%, but like you don't know anything about yourself as a person. And I was like I was hard. Like I'd get in a fight at the drop of the hat, and I was angry all the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, maybe you need to explore the softer side of things, like a poetry class or acting or something. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Like, I wanted to get, some kind of like fancy Asian potion with lizards and scorpions in it, and like, and you were gonna tell me if I took this, I'd be better. No, and I was so pissed. But I was desperate, and I also wanted to finish graduating, so I enrolled at University of Rochester, which is literally right across the street from the hospital, and I I signed up for their acting class, and I hated it.
Wow.
It's like all these people hugging and like this like stuff, and I was like, you're dumb, you're weird, I don't know what's wrong with you, I hate all of you. Like I was so uncomfortable. And the teacher, his name is Nigel Maester, he runs the program, I think just kind of knew that something that I needed help, and he basically was like, I'm not gonna give you your A, I'm gonna like ruin your straight A your GPA if you don't audition for this play. And I was like, oh my God. And so I auditioned, and of course he cast me as this like minor role in a play called from Friedrich Dürrenmatt called The Visit, and I sucked. But I got to be in a black box theater and kind of like watch 40 strangers in a room have this like shared experience. And like every night it would like the hair on the back of my neck would just stand up. It was like a weird, super electric kind of thing, and it scared the piss out of me, but I didn't understand it. And so I auditioned, and the next thing I got was the lead, this character, the father, in 6 Characters in Search of an Author, which is a pretty dark play talking about like the ugly. So there's a scene where the father, who kind of like things get hard, the father abandons his family, and years later finds himself like at a brothel, right? And like picks this young prostitute and like starts to like force himself upon her, and she starts crying, and then comes to realize it's his daughter, right? It's awful. And like, and I was super young and like super angry, and like I stormed off the stage, went into the green room, started smashing lockers, and my director, they'd hired this New York director, Michael Barakiva, and he was like, what is your problem? And and I was like, I hate this. Like, what? Who would want to do this? This guy is a pig and he's doing disgusting things. Like, I hate this, and I don't like feeling like this, and like, what? I don't want to do this. And I was like really upset. And Michael could be like a really scary dude, but he was actually really kind, and he was like, Noshir, if you're really gonna do this, like if you're really gonna do this and try to do it well, you can't judge this guy. You have to find a way to identify with him. And I was like, I don't know what the F that means, but like, I mean, I'm not gonna quit, you know what I mean? That's not what I do, but and so we do the show, and on closing night, we were all like the 6 main characters were all in whiteface, and I was backstage taking off my makeup, and I started to cry. And I kind of realized that this father character had gone for me from this like reviled, kind of disgusting person I loathed to like to that friend you have that's just a screw up, you know what I mean? That like never gets it right. But you love them anyway, you know what I mean? And I was never gonna see him again. And that like really broke my heart. And I think that was like a pivotal moment for me. And then like, I don't know, maybe a month or 2 after that, I think we were starting Hamlet, and the doctors were like, you got to come in right now. And I was like, oh God, they're going to take out my spleen. And so I go in there, and these 2 oncologists are sitting there, and they're like, so we don't know what's going on, but for like the last 4 months or so, your hemocrit is just skyrocketing back to where it should be. So like if there's something lifestyle you're doing, if it's like your diet or, some fitness, that whatever you're doing, just keep doing whatever you're. And I was like, I've been acting, like that's literally like all I've done. And I was like, I guess I just keep acting then, but I think,
that's so cool.
yeah, it was cool. Goofy. But I think the thing I learned, and it didn't dawn on me until like years and years later, was like, I think that night on closing night for 6 Characters, when I realized that I'd come to care for the father, I'd forgiven him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think in doing so, I'd forgiven part of myself.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of my friends that I meet now, they're like, wait, you were like borderline homicidal all the time? I don't believe it. You know what I mean? I was a crazy guy.
Yeah.
And I think like I've learned a lot about myself and kind of how to deal with my personal stuff through my character. So that's been super helpful for me.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Dude, yeah, thank you.
Sorry
Thank
for the
you.
long, drawn out.
No,
I don't know how to
that-
truncate that anymore.
no, that is
Yeah,
a very well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, because
absolutely.
I find that very fascinating. I also think it is very commendable and brave and important to not shy away from what you mentioned, even with your characters, the grittier details of like that. You find those in all of your roles because the identification there. So thank you for sharing that. That was a very incredible story. So we're happy to. No need to truncate it at all. Trust me, we are here to let you talk. That is what you are here for. And so yeah, we're gonna get into something a little bit more fun, a little less heavy going. We're going to go into our next segment. Will, if you are cool with that.
Oh, hit the button.
Think ferret.
Oh, it's that part of the show where we are going to clip farm and talk about some fun game stuff. We're going to rank stuff. We're going to do some King of the Hill. Grayson, you have the first game for our
Yes.
wonderful guest for
Yeah.
tonight.
This will be a little bit of a palate cleanser. We love to do our blind rankings here. Do you know what a blind ranking is?
Don't.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, I'm going to throw out 5 characters, and you are going to have to rank them. I guess it is up to you if you want to do best to worst or your favorite to least favorite. It's kind of subjective.
Man. Okay.
So I'll go ahead and tell you that these are Imperials. So this is an Imperial blind ranking. So there is five here, and it's going to be in no specific order. And I'll put out a name, and you'll be like, you're not going to know what's coming next. So
Okay. I'll do 1 is the worst and 5 is the best. 5 I like the most. How about that?
Cool.
Okay, all right, perfect.
The catch is, though, once you place them 1 through 3, they stay there.
Oh.
So
no swapping.
That first person, you're like, oh, that's my 5. That means everybody who comes after is below
You got
4
it.
through 1.
You got it.
So
Okay.
they stay there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
This is brutal.
It's fun.
Yeah.
This is mean.
And we love when we have guests on who have never done a blind ranking, and we're like, let's go.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
The first one is going to be Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh. I mean, I think it really depends on how you're judging, but I'm gonna have to give, yeah. I have to give Tarkin a 3 because I mean
3?
What a bastard, but like also played by or voiced by one of my favorite actors, and just like I mean, and also so pivotal to the universe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
yeah.
This is gonna be Varco Gray.
Oh man. Oh, I mean, I guess I'd have to give him a 4.
Ooh,
There we go.
I do like Varco a lot.
I like his journey, and I think the Hunted short. I'm sure you guys have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
That like when I actually watched that after having done the voice work for it in my studio, we actually saw the release, and like it was at the time probably the most Star Wars thing I've ever done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
Blew my mind. That was awesome.
Yeah. I only played Squadrons for the first time last year, and so I had seen that short, and then my dad actually played the game, and he was like, "You need to play Squadrons." I was like, "All right, I'll get to
cool.
it." Yeah.
Very cool.
And I played it, and I was like, wait, he's in the. Oh, I didn't know they like actually was going to be connected. Okay, cool. So great.
One little also behind the scenes, because I'd never had to do a British accent before Varco Gray, so like I really tried to study hard to get that right for the audition, and I mean, it was the work that I did there that paved the way for Rampart. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I'm super grateful to Varco for so many reasons.
Next up is going to be director Krennic.
Oh man. I mean, he's such a little weasel.
Yeah, he is. So sassy.
I mean, I have to leave room because you mentioned Imperials, so maybe he won't come up at all. He's not an Imperial, he's just a dude. I'll put Krennic at a 2.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll leave room.
I want that as a footnote in like a Star Wars encyclopedia for that character. He's not an Imperial, he's just a Awesome.
Well, we're only unfortunately getting douchier. And that is Lieutenant Nolan. Do you remember Lieutenant Nolan?
Oh man.
He sucks.
He really sucks. And like what I love is like he had to suck so bad that Crosshair's like, oh, like
Looks good.
I need to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, you must suck real bad. Yeah, I'll put him at a 1 because like I thought maybe Pong Krell would make his way onto this list, but then I realized Pong Krell is not an Imperial, so
I was about to say
funny.
that very comparable, to be honest, for the motive of the thing. Yeah. That puts the top of your list. You did this on purpose.
Yeah, you did.
That's going to be Vice Admiral Rampart. You knew what you were doing.
That's you have him at number 5.
Oh, this list is so sordid and so messed up.
It's literally.
If anyone didn't know me and just like looked at this list, they'd be like, "Wow, you are like just an incredible piece of garbage human being." That's hilarious. But also,
yeah,
I love it. Rampart will always have a huge place in my heart. He's the best. He's a character, man. He's something else. So we got at the top we have Rampart. At number 4 we have Varko. At 3 we have Tarkin. At 2 we have Krennic, and at number 1 we have Lieutenant Nolan. Actually, I'm pretty okay with this list. You know, there's a part of me that's like Tarkin really should go lower on the list just because he's responsible for so many atrocities.
Mm-hmm.
But like also, it's funny in a way. Tarkin is never personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like Nolan for me, that was personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I am okay with this list, actually.
Heck yeah.
We'll keep it.
The way this next game goes, we call this King of the Hill. The way this works is we're going to give you 2 people to start off with, and you'll pick one, and that person will continue on till the next.
Oh, man.
Those 2 people will go up together, and if you pick that same person, they win and they continue on. So whoever you pick the most recent, that's who continues on. So we're going to go through. There's, I believe, 12 of these.
Oh,
and
wow.
once again, this is completely up to you of how you want to do this. This is not, if you were like in my head, I was going off who has the best outfit. That is 100% up to you of how you want to rank these.
I love it.
We'll start off. Okay. These are going to be Star Wars villains.
Nice.
Okay. So your first 2 are Count Dooku and Boba Fett.
Oh, man. Come on.
It really doesn't get any easier.
God dang. Well, and especially if you've seen like any of the animated stuff that shows like young Dooku, oh man, I have to go with Boba Fett though. He's
cool.
Ooh,
man.
Cool. Okay. Boba Fett is up against Rampart now.
Admiral Rampart?
Yes, sir.
Boba Fett all day. Oh man.
Boba
Fett curb stomps Rampart every time.
Okay. Boba Fett is up against Maul.
Oh, this is awful.
Which truly is so much fun for us.
I'm not kidding. 80% of the time, the reaction that we do this is, man, this is awful.
I love it. It's Maul. It's Maul for sure.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sure. Maul takes the lead. Maul is going up against Captain Phasma.
Maul.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish that wasn't easy for me. Like I wanted Phasma to be like so epic, and I just it wasn't, Phasma wasn't given, I think, the opportunity to do like epic stuff. So
unfortunately.
Also
Maul,
up against Maul, which is at least in my opinion one of the best written characters in Star Wars. It's that's kind of a hard seed right there.
Oh, man.
Okay, well here, let's see how long this one takes. Maul is going up against Palpatine.
I'm not even going to justify it, but Maul.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one might be a little harder. Maul or Jabba the Hutt?
Not harder. Maul all day.
Let's go. Okay. Maul is up against, we talked about him earlier, Pong Krell.
Oh, on my criteria, Maul. Plus, I just want to I don't care if Maul is a Sith. I want to see Pong Krell
Yeah.
just demolished.
As somebody who lost his lower limbs, Pong Krell has a lot of limbs for that guy to take. So, okay.
So true. I'm so excited to see what Sam brings to the Maul series.
Yeah. We cannot wait. Okay.
He's awesome.
This one might be a little tough. Maul and Vader.
Oh God.
The retreat from the question.
Maul has never made my wife cry, and my wife sobbed. During COVID, she'd never seen Star Wars. I had her watch the original trilogy,
Cool.
and then I took her straight to the Clone Wars animated series. And when she realized who Anakin is, she just started bawling, and I was like, I mean, this is horrible in a way, but I was like, yes, like that's what you want to see, right?
Absolutely.
Like Vader is he's a tragic hero.
Yeah.
It's Vader. It's
Okay.
Vader. I love them both, but man, Vader is just epic.
he's kind of Star Wars in a nutshell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Will, are you withholding this one character that you glanced over till the end?
Oh,
No, I was putting them next, actually.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Vader and Cad Bane.
I mean, on like swagger, Cad Bane wins every day. But like, I was kind of going by like complexity and like compelling characters, and I still got to give it to Vader.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, but Cad Bane is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, as someone who you were very well known for a Western video game, Cad Bane pretty much just fits right in there.
So good. I mean, as soon as we met him in Clone Wars, I think I was just like, who is that? And this is gonna be amazing.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I forget he shows up in Bad Batch too. Yeah. Like that always just like that's it, there he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Vader is up against Jedi Survivor Zone Dagan Gera.
Will Tanalorr be his? The world may never know.
Not today, Vader, man. Vader dices Dagan real bad.
Okay.
I think Dagan was such a cool character, but also Vader just has so much lore to draw from. For me, it's like no contest, man.
Honestly, that would have been a crazy, even just like an actual fight. That would have been a crazy cool fight to see. Like
that would be a crazy cool fight to see. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, well, I would love to see Vader against Dagan Gera at his peak. You know what I mean? Because I think that would be some craziness.
Yeah. Now the question is, and we're like, I'm curious now because we're all nerding out about it. Is Dagan's peak pre him bleeding, like pre arm loss? Because I'm like, he's kind of crazy without the arm. Like he's like,
oh yeah.
Like I'm kind of like, what is his peak?
I mean, I don't know how much you guys adhere to like deep nerd lore, and I don't know how much of this is actually like just fans speculating or what. I've heard that like the less organic you are, the less power you have to draw from the Force, right? So like
True.
Vader as a full organic would be like so epically powerful.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the interesting thing is like, it's not even for me about that. I feel like to truly be a danger to Vader, Dagan would have to have like all his marbles, and I think I think Dagan is like unhinged enough that he makes mistakes against Cal.
Yeah.
And like Cal is epic, but Cal is not yet Vader, I think, Vader level. You know what I mean? And I think Vader would not just like take advantage of, he would punish Dagon for his mistakes. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think literally the only two characters, you make an excellent point about having your marbles, is when Obi-Wan beats him even pre-suit, and then even in post-suit, and then of course Seer does, because Seer is like full, I'm not afraid, I have nothing to worry about. That's the biggest threat to Vader, is when someone is absent of fear.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I think Dagon would be pissing his pants. So yeah. Anyway, back to it, Will.
Vader continues. Next up is Vader and Asajj Ventress.
Oh man, Asajj is so dope. I mean, it's still got to be Vader for me.
Yeah,
for sure. Like Asajj, I think, at least in all the times we see her, I mean, when she comes back at the end of the Bad Batch, she's definitely grown a ton.
Right.
But there's something she's trying to prove that I think is like that weakness that Vader would just exploit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Completely agreed.
Okay. This is going to be Granddaddy up against Grandson. Vader and Kylo Ren.
Oh no! If you went from the first 10 minutes of the what is that, episode 4, I guess, I would have been like, oh dude, no, this could be a tight fight, but no, Vader is gonna squash that dude real bad.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
there's an excellent fan film out there that it's like they set it right before The Force Awakens, that it's like he's having this vision, and it's like, I mean, truly, like it is so well done. I don't remember the name of it, so I'd have to figure it out. But yeah, it was.
Share it with me later. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's really cool. But yeah, Vader's
when Kylo froze the blaster bolt,
insane.
Like I was literally like, oh no! Like Vader deflected bolts. I've never seen anyone freeze a bolt.
Yeah.
You know, like in stasis, and I was like, this is next level stuff. You know what I mean? And then I was like, what happened?
Yeah. The Chekhov gun of that scene of the blaster then exploding later on once the battle is over is too dang cool too.
It's sick. It's
my gosh.
Epic moments.
All right. A little bit different here. Vader is up against Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh man. And I read all the books too. This is bad. They're both so cool for such different reasons.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Tough,
man.
It is tough, but for me, I think like this is a stupid metric, but Vader wins on tragedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like Thrawn unless I'm missing something epically huge, he just doesn't have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like a chess grandmaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I honestly, it's like weird. I feel like, I mean, whether you're going by character metric or just like actual like power scaling, Vader, it's like Vader feels almost kind of like a John Wick, and Thrawn is like one of like the Russian mafia guys, you know, where it's like at the end of the day, like Vader kind of has nothing left to lose. Like he'll just kind of bulldoze his way through to get to Thrawn, and Thrawn eventually. Vader's a tough one to beat, but yeah.
I mean, like I guess so I guess if we were doing power magic, it would have to be like Vader versus Thrawn and his military. You know what I mean? Like, like Thrawn versus Vader. It's like, unless they're actually playing chess, it's Vader all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It is Vader with all his emotional bandwidth, and Thrawn with all his military and wit bandwidth. Against each other. That's really how you'd have to do it. All right, and last up is Vader and Bode.
Oh, it's Vader. I mean, like
easy.
I love yes, because I love Bode, and I think I think if we got to explore a lot of the stuff that like I talked to like dev team about for Bode and like all the stuff that we never got to share, that might be like a much more interesting story. But like
Right.
what like general public knows about Bode and Vader, but also just like
I will say earlier the metric was tragedy when it came to Thrawn versus Vader, and I'm like,
They're-
Bode has a lot
they're
of
tragic.
yeah.
They're tragic, but Vader is mythic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like, I don't know, Perseus going up against like Zeus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
like it's super gnarly, and like points on Bode for going for it, but like you're fighting a tornado. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Well,
That's a very
Vader
I
wins
love
out.
that. Yeah, Vader takes the king of the hill.
Vader wins out for King of the Hill. Okay.
oh man, yeah. Oh, Bode, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so quick with it. I should have delayed, if only for your honor's sake, but
It's okay, you can't win them all,
Yeah,
obviously.
can't win them all. Especially, look, there were a lot of people early on that I was like, for a lot of people, there are some people who on this list are kind of guaranteed to continue in a lot of these matchups. So once you get to a Vader, a Maul, or like a Palpatine, it's like, all right, let's see who's coming next. It really is tough.
it's like
It really is tough.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I loved how long Maul went though. Like Maul over Palpatine. That's a lovely pick. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like and maybe there are like books and other things that I have either forgotten or haven't read that would make Palpatine more compelling for me, but like I'm never like, wow, what's going on in his head? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vader, I'm always like, what is going on with that dude?
Right.
I'm curious about Vader. Palpatine almost feels like the monster under the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It truly like Palpatine, he's evil incarnate, man. Like it's what he is. He is like I think one of my most vivid scenes I think about is, and even though it's technically not canon, it is the Plagueis novel. And there's a part where he's just tearing through this compound of these like senators. And I mean, he is described as like borderline demonic almost.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously like Maul literally looks like a demon and stuff, but there's a tragedy to Maul through his abduction and his
Yes.
abuse. Whereas Palpatine has just been like, since he was a kid, has been like, kind of a sociopath. Like,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
all that's all he is. He is pure, like he is a dark mass, and he's like, I'm gonna do anything I can, and I have no empathy at all.
Right.
And
Right.
which it makes him a very fun villain, but like you said, there's kind of not a whole lot going on in his head in terms of just like, I'm evil. Whereas Vader is like, you've got all of the backstory and the ties in his head. So yeah, no, I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and where he comes from, and like, you know, his fall from grace, and like there's like shame and all kinds of stuff there that I'm sure in some universes is explored for Palpatine, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And it actually makes him less interesting for me because he's just kind of like evil in that kind of like nebulous. He's like
Yeah.
an evil cloud. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
know what to do with that.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
a lot of the, I mean, at least for me, when it comes to villains, I think the biggest thing, like Maul is my favorite. I love Vader as well when it comes to that. Like, there's always the element of choice is when they're in a position of whether they're going to do the evil thing or not. And with Palpatine, it's not a choice of whether or not he is going to do the evil thing. It's how he's going to do the evil thing.
And when.
and when and how bad is it going to be, which is awesome to watch because you're like, oh man, this guy really is the worst. But when it comes to somebody like a Maul or a Vader, it's like it's like you don't want them to make the bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And like when they, how do I describe it? It's weird because like Palpatine has all the failings of like a classic villain, right? He's got that arrogance and the hunger for power and all that other stuff.
Mhm.
But I think the rage that comes from like shame and failure is like is like the dynamo that runs Vader in a way that you don't like. And that for me is like, that's like, if people were like, who would you want to play, Palpatine or Vader? It's like, what kind of stupid question is that? You know what I mean? Like, that answer is like a gimme right there. I'd explore that all day.
Absolutely.
Will, but I don't want to jump the gun. Is there a bumper for this, or are we going to go straight into the next question?
We're going straight into the next one.
Perfect. Well, speaking,
despite the stress.
Yeah.
Well, we are clear of the game section now. We're back to interview mode. Speaking of characters you play and what makes them intriguing, we talked a little about what makes them magnetic to you specifically. And I'm just, guys, if you're here and you haven't played Jedi Survivor, I don't know what you're doing. It's been like over 2.5 years. We're gonna get into spoilers. Go treat yourself. Go play Survivor. All right.
Spoilers for the game.
If you haven't played, please go play it and don't watch the rest of this yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go play the entire gameplay and then come back.
Then come back.
The rest of the
interview. Been warned.
Jumping straight into the twist for Bode, kind of a flip on its head for the entire game, a huge subversion. When you got I'd be curious to know, when were you told about the twist? Was it just when you were reading the script? And also, what was it like recording that scene when working on it? And you can tackle both of those individually if you'd like.
So I'm assuming that when you talk about that scene, you're talking about Cordova.
Yeah.
And everything that transpires there. So
yeah.
Oh man. So first of all, I when I originally auditioned, I didn't realize it was Star Wars, and there was, they redact or edit your audition to make it very vague because spoilers happen, and leaks happen all over the place. And the audition scene I had was the confrontation scene after the speeder bike moment, where it's Bode and Cal, and Bode's like, if you care about, you have to go back right now. And so I think in the scene, it became very clear to me that whatever was going on, obviously Bode had committed some kind of terrible betrayal. And so I'm a weapons guy. I do a lot of weapons work for like a lot of video games and stuff like that. But my weapons training comes from like tactical combatives. I train for the martial component of it. I don't train for a show. So when I did the audition, I had brought and it was on Zoom, right? I'm not bringing this into a room. It was in my house, but like I had my 1911, my pistol, in my hand, and like at the beginning of it, I raised my hands and I put it down to kind of show him that things were cool. And at the end of it, I pulled the concealed carry appendix pistol that I had and I safed it, to kind of like, and like you saw the director be like, "Oh, you sneaky mother," like it was. The whole idea was like Bode always has teeth. You know what I mean? And like I didn't know anything about his journey. I didn't know, like literally I ran it through once and then they were like, "Do you know what this is?" And I was like, they're like, "It's Star Wars." And I was like, "Oh, okay." One moment, please. You know what I mean? Oh my God. So but I think so after that audition, casting sent my agent the notice that I'd booked the role, and like all they said was like, "Congratulations, and you can, please tell Noshir it's really exciting. He gets to be a Jedi." And I was like, "What? Like I get to be a Jedi? Oh my God, I'm gonna be a good guy. Oh man, it probably means that I'm gonna die because like Cal's gonna be the one that like lives to see it through. But like, how cool is that?" And then like I don't know, a month later or whatever, I get the script. I'm like, "Oh, this is so ah!" You know what I mean? And I was like, "No, what the hell?" And I was, like, I was so
That's
upset.
Awesome.
Casting, that was just rude too. I was like, "You set me up, man." You totally set me up. So I went into it, and it was only when I got the script that I also realized I thought I was going to be like a small NPC, that like kind of comes in for a moment. And so what a wonderful surprise to find out that I was going to be such a pivotal part of Cal's journey. So as far as shooting that scene, and here I have to really give credit to one person who's been very, very important in my Star Wars journey. His name is Darren Ross. He's the stunt coordinator for the Jedi series,
Okay.
and a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, huge. And he also originally was part of Blur, which is the team that did a lot of the trailers for like Knights of the Old Republic and all.
Yeah.
So my very first time doing mocap for Star Wars was doing the mocap for Arcan in the trailer with the twins.
What?
Right?
I
Yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah, it was wild. And so I met Dave Wilson there, who's a director and he's the one that wrote the monologue, right? That
Yeah.
what's his face is kind of saying throughout the thing, and it was epic. So like Darren has been on this journey with me, like in Star Wars and like just nerddom in general for a long time.
Yeah.
So we get to that scene, and the way it was written was alarms go off. Oh my God, there are Star Destroyers, in orbit. What's happening? Turn around. Bode is confronting Cordova, ices him, and just walks off. And Cal's like, and then he like literally thermal detonator over the shoulder. What bothered me was one of the things I'd talked about with the team for a long time was it was really important to me that Bode wasn't just like another turncoat, I've been evil all this time, wahaha, kind of a villain.
Right.
That was critical for me, and actually something that a hill that I waged several wars on, not with the writing team, but with some other folks on production. And this was all in like that final week of filming. Things are moving fast. We had to get it in the can, and like there was a lot of pressure, but they were working on some stuff. And so I went over to Tony, who plays Cordova, and I was like, I don't like the way this happens. And so we got to talking, because I also feel like I loved Cordova from Fallen Order.
Right.
And it felt like this had the potential to be a moment of heroism for Cordova, even if most people don't see it that way. And so one of the things we talked about, like, that Cordova has the gift of foresight. So in that moment when he confronts Bode, and he doesn't bring a lightsaber to him, he doesn't threaten him with violence, he sees the path that Bode is potentially on, right? And he says, like, son, you don't have to do this. And he puts his hand on Bode's shoulder. And that none of that is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it because for me, what that is that's a heroic Jedi master moment for Cordova, right? Because in this moment, he could have chosen violence to end this. And instead, we see him trying to give Bode the thing that Bode wants more than anything in the world, and that's to go back to belonging, right? To have a Jedi Order and a family that he used to have, right? When Cal says "May the Force be with you" earlier in the game, I almost trip on my own feet, because I've like forgotten what it feels like to hear that from someone, you know what I mean? And then it's also a moment where it's like, does he know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I gonna ice this dude right now? And he has to cover it with, like, I think it's like, we'll see how well you fly, and he kind of walks off. But like that moment is like an actually really painful moment for Bode. And so what happens is in that moment when Tony as Cordova does that, now Bode has to make a decision. On the one hand, Cordova is offering him redemption. He's offering him the out, because Cordova can see what's happening, and Bode can have everything he wants: a brother in arms, a sister in arms, a family to belong to, no longer to be a dog of the Empire, but no guarantee that Kata gets out of there safe. Because the thing that I kept coming back to is, how many times in the past has Bode tried to screw up a mission, or like let a Jedi go, do something that is not what his overlords have demanded of him? And I think when he's failed, on purpose or not, Kata is the one that's paid the price, and he just can't take that risk. So in that moment, Bode makes the decision to kill Cordova, because in doing so, what it means is he can never go back, because he knows Cal will never forgive him for that. And Bode needs that, because he cares about Cal so much and wants so desperately to be a part of this crew, that if he doesn't do this, he doesn't have faith that he will stay the course. So for me, in that moment, killing Cordova becomes Bode fully committing.
Yep.
That is him saying, my daughter is the only thing that matters. And he shuts the door on everything he could have. And I think it's super quick, but like for me, so basically what happened was we were working on all this stuff, and Darren's over here like, what are you guys doing? And he's watching, and he's like, that's dope. And he like walked over to Aaron, who's the main writer, and the rest of the team, and was like, hey, you guys should see what Noshir and Tony are doing. And they came over and checked it out, and then they were like, let's shoot it. And like, I'm so grateful they did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I try not to look at comments and stuff, but I also like interacting with fans, and like every now and then you'll see them be like, why is Cordova even in this? Like, he's in and then he just gets iced. Like, he's kind of just a prop. And I understand people's attachment to Cordova and feeling hurt that he isn't given more to do. But what I hope people who see this will take away from it is like, it was really important to Tony and I, and we tried to give Cordova like a moment of heroism. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he does what a Jedi master does, which is he saw a student in pain and tried to save him. You know what I mean? And I think that's a beautiful moment, and I'm so glad that the team at Respawn like saw what we were doing and were like, that's in line with what we want, you know what I mean, and allowed us to do that. That was really, really cool. Sorry, that was super long-winded, but
no, that is that moment, that entire sequence of events is one of, honestly, I'm not even exaggerating, and this is not me brown nosing at all, truly one of my favorite moments in all of gaming. And I'm a huge gamer, like I really am. And I remember like genuinely being like, what? Like I had never felt, but like it was one of those things where like, because I had grown to love Bode so much, and that kind of, there's those inklings throughout all of the game where he's really trying to get Cal on his side and to kind of wean him in a little bit, knowing what he has to do. My question for you is like, was it difficult having to, the layering of like, okay, you're playing this character and you're acting as them, who that character is also acting like there is nothing wrong, like there is not this ulterior motive. What was that like? Like acting on top of acting, pretty much. Was that challenging?
It was challenging in a wonderful way. Like,
yeah.
I love that layered, the subtlety that comes along with it. And like one of the things I talked about with the team was I'd love to have small moments where you might not even know what's happening, but Bode is doing things that are, because like in my mind, before he worked for the Empire, right, he was essentially working for kind of like the Jedi Council as essentially like the Jedi equivalent of like internal affairs. Or like he was a member, because he has the ability to dampen his force power, right? Like, so like I think they call it force cloaking, which is a ability that like Palpatine has, right? And I think it's very rare. And so my headcanon for him was, when they discovered that he had this ability, he's immediately removed from most of the Jedi Order and essentially trained with a select few, and they are the Jedi that essentially are there to police other Jedi. Like Bode would be one of those sent to police Pong Krell, for example. You know what I mean? Because who's there to answer? Like, who, if the Jedi have like unlimited authority and like no one is policing the Jedi, that is the road to tyranny, right?
Absolutely.
And the Jedi Council would have to know this. So I think oftentimes Bode would be sent in, for example, to play, like, to essentially be like a lay person working on the utilities crew for a Jedi that they were like, we've heard some funny things going on, or the math on this is not working out, or, you know, go see what's happening. And he could mask himself as just one more normal person on a crew. And because he's completely harmless as far as the Jedi is concerned, kind of make his way in and observe what's going on, and then be able to relay that back to the Jedi Council, or if needed, act in the moment, right? So I think Bode has actually been working undercover like all of his Jedi career. There's actually a fun moment. This is one thing I talked about with the team was, you know, whenever the Jedi do the mind trick stuff, there's this like big sweeping gesture. And one of the things I talked about was, if he's going to use his force powers but try to hide his ability, that, you know, the fact that he's a Jedi, he would have to do things that mask that stuff. So in the first scene, I don't even know if you can see it. I don't think I've actually seen this moment. Bode and Grease are talking in the what is it technically, the bar, the pub, the cantina?
It's Pyloon Saloon.
Saloon, yes, thank you.
Mm.
The word would come to me eventually. And and so there's one moment where Bode, at least in the capture, I was like, no, man, like, and this is how he hides. He's trying to use his force power on Grease to be like, no, I'm a friend of Cal's. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
So he does these little things where it's just like, and it looks like he's just gesturing, right? Because he has learned to mask little moments of Jedi manipulation so that he can perform these things to give him an edge without people being like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that wasn't really, like, for me, the whole thing was like, if we're going to make Bode a survivor who has been doing this for a long time, there's a bunch of stuff he would have had to learn to survive in this this world. You know what I mean? Especially against like shady Jedi like Pong Krell or whatever. He can't go around doing this kind of stuff. If he gets caught, he's dead. You know what I mean? And so there are a bunch of little moments like that throughout that, like, I took as, like, for example, I think one of the reasons Bode is always wearing his gloves is to try to dampen any chance of Cal picking up on with his psychometry.
Yeah.
You know, any cues. Like, that's one of the things like that was really important to me. Like, I think there's a bunch of things that are built into kind of who he's made his persona to be, because I have the feeling he had to do a whole research on who Cal Kestis is. Right? Because the funny thing is, he's not interested in Cal Kestis. He's sent to find Seer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Seer is the target. He's infiltrating by getting into Cal's crew. And then it just turns out that Cal is like the coolest dude ever. And like the brother he's always wished he had. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that makes life very difficult for him.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we started with. I mean,
you were, I mean, that was honestly, I don't even really care what the question was, because that was amazing. It made really me cool. and the thought that I had, and I'm sure I would imagine you would agree as well, it's like, you get the indication that obviously Bode was probably a pretty lonely person, hence why he ended up, finding love and having a child. And I think that probably is in a good part to the fact that he was kind of living a very lonely lifestyle even before the Empire, and that's like, it kind of, it would make sense why he would be driven to that point, because it's like, he's doing everything on his own. He's doing these things, like, I can't, if that is what he is doing on behalf of the Order based on your headcanon, like, he probably doesn't even really have any Jedi friends, because they can't know who he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting, because I feel like what would have happened is, like, he would have had, like, I don't know, 10 agents that are like his crew, you know what I mean, that he would know. But like, otherwise out there, he's force cloaked almost all the time, even when interacting with Jedi that are his allies, right? But like, to that end, I think the question started with like, what was it like being like kind of a character who's like trying to be this, but is actually this, and underneath this.
Right.
And I think one of the things that actually worked really well was the fact that I was the new guy on set. Like the entire cast had worked together on Fallen Order and had become like so tight. Like, it actually like really moved me to watch this casual, easy friendship that they all had on and off the set and out of the volume, you know what I mean? And I was always that new guy, which really worked well, you know what I mean? I think, I'm sure everyone was also like, Bode is actually a pretty important character. He better not screw this up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, Cameron was so cool, and like, the guy's, first of all, incredibly kind, but like masterful at what he does, and he loves Cal Kestis.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so like, I definitely started off kind of like I was the new guy, and we were kind of like, and I take big swings when I'm out there, and I make big choices. Um, I think one of our first scenes was scouting out the Lucre Hulk, and I just told him, I was like, because it's originally like, whatever, and he like jets off, and I was like, I'm gonna like fall backwards, and then you guys
Yeah.
the jetpack taking off. The idea being like I wanted to show Bode was so capable with the jetpack, like it's like they're like man and machine melded together, kind of like a rider on his motorcycle, you know what I mean? Like, and like a casual ease to it that looks super cool, but like isn't like a deliberate kind of like showy thing. It's just he's so used to it. And I remember like Cameron clocking it and being like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And like, over the course of the shoot, like Cameron on his lunch breaks would often have this like it's not the mirror app, but something similar where he would be doing exercises in the volume on lunch break. And so like, he after a while he's like, you want to work out with me? And like we'd all be like, oh my God, this is freaking horrible. But it was like I was becoming buddies with Cameron, and Bode was becoming buddies with Cal. You know what I mean? And I think that was super important. And like to that note of like being alone, one of my headcanons was, I think, Bode in trying to escape after Order 66. I think he was gravely injured and went underground. And I think Tyala like essentially like found him and like helped nurse him back to health, right? And like I think Bode was like a hardline Jedi. But when you look at like the prequels, for example, you realize that because of some of their rigid rules, the Jedi Council was very blind to a bunch of stuff that like they really should have seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the things that happens as he kind of gets to know and falls in love with Tile is also like, it's kind of like, but why? Like, why are we not allowed to have attachment? Like, why is love so bad? Because like Kata comes out of this love and is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, and the idea that you would deprive your fellow Jedi of a thing to fight for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A thing to be good for. I think for Bode was really alarming. You know what I mean? I think that talk he has with Cal, where in the Lucre Hulk, where he's like, if you have feelings for Marin, you have to go for it. Like, this is really important. I don't think he's not saying that to set him up. He's saying it because he cares and he knows. I think he sees that Cal is very much like what young Bode used to be, like a hardliner, like, and a soldier. You know what I mean? And that path leads to loneliness and ruin.
Yeah.
Because all your friends die. You know what I mean? And then who are you left with? You have nothing. And so I think Bode does say that coming from a place of love. And one of the things that I talked about with the team was, I think oftentimes if the Imperial intelligence was getting close to Bode and Tile and Kata, to Bode's family, Bode would leave, go far away, and like on the outer rim somewhere, make himself known to draw the attention. And while, and so Bode might be gone for a month or 2 months. And I think while he was gone, Tyala would sing Ghost Star to Kata as like kind of that song that you sing until Dad comes home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when he turns, so when he becomes an agent of the Empire, he sings Ghost Star as a way to remind himself of the mission. You know what I mean? Like he sings that with Kata because I think if he doesn't, like Cal and his team are everything he's ever wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and he desperately wants to be on the good side. You know, he's not, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's a good person that was forced to make terrible decisions.
Yeah.
And so Ghost Star is his, in undercover work, oftentimes you'll have like certain mnemonic linchpins that are designed to keep you focused and make sure, because you have to get in deep with your cover story, and sometimes as a result you get emotionally attached, and you have to have something that reminds you of what you're actually there to do. And so for Bode, I think Ghost Star is that thing. And there's a version of the recording where you hear Bode singing Ghost Star, and he's like breaking as he sings it. And I think that's because I think that's the night he's made the decision to call in the Empire, but the song isn't doing what it normally does, which is to kind of keep him true to focus. Like, he's realizing that like something is wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this linchpin that's always kept him on the straight and narrow is failing him. And I think it's a nightmare for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That nuance is truly why he's one of my favorite characters. And, you know, we have a lot of mutual friends who, they successfully rage bait me by being like, "Oh, Bode sucks," and I'm like, "You don't understand." but I'm like, no, like that's the stuff that, and they probably didn't go back and look at all of the Force echoes, all right, after they beat the game. And you don't understand, but yeah, Will, you have a question more on the technical side of things.
Yeah, so I think from our conversation at Rebel Scum and our conversation here, we've talked a lot about you and the artistic side of the acting and the character choices for bringing to life what is written and those sort of things. But we were talking a little bit about earlier, you mentioned it a couple times, your martial arts background. And that side of things, which I think is incredibly cool as well. And you see it in your roles, especially for something like Bode, where that comes out. For something like the mocap process, and then look, this is a Star Wars podcast. We are Star Wars nerds. You are somebody who got to use a lightsaber. What was the mocap process like for a role like this? And then sub A1 to that was, how damn cool was it to use a lightsaber?
Man. So obviously the first time I actually got to use a lightsaber in mocap was as Arcan, right? For the Knights of the Old Republic stuff.
Yep.
Which was just like
crazy,
mind-breakingly dope. But this was really different.
That is absolutely a bananas thing for us to now know of.
Because I never knew.
There's going to be a point in this where you're going to see both Grayson and I's brains kind of break at the exact same time. So that is bananas.
It was a lot of fun, but I have to make sure I put the credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
That final moment between the twins where there's the huge leap and all that stuff, that was wire work and fight choreography done by the stunt team.
Cool.
That worked on Blur. So I need to make sure I am not taking credit for that. Like, and the same with Jedi Survivor. I was actually, even though I do a lot of stunts and I'm often brought on to a game to do stunts.
Yeah.
I was actually not allowed to do stunts on Survivor.
Wow.
Which like really bothered me. Well, for me, because I felt like I do a lot of gun stuff. Like, if you guys have you guys played The Last of Us 2?
Okay. You're talking to the Last of Us 2 guy, baby.
So like every time Ellie or Abby does a reload, that's me, right? Like, we actually brought in, like, we had an actual armor come in with, like, I don't know, it was like 20 guns. It was like 6 pistols, like a over-under shotgun, pump shotgun, AK, M4, bolt-action rifle, you know, a bow, compound bow, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I had to do, like, you know, tactical reloads and speed reloads and like CYA reloads and all this other stuff. And like, I had to do them differently for Abby and Ellie, because Ellie has kind of been self-taught, whereas Abby comes from military training, you know what I mean? So all that to say, I do a lot of gun stuff. And once again, I have to show mad love for Darren Ross and his stunt team. Darren knew that I was like a weapon savvy guy. The thing is, like, stay the course. Stay on target. So when you have actual weapons that use like actual ammunition, double pistols become super tricky because reloads are a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna like, like it's a goofy thing. And like I've had to do like one arm reloads and stuff like that. And it's not fun and it's definitely not sexy, right? But because Bode's using blasters, and I was like, is there any reload with the blaster? Because if there is, I want to figure out how that works and kind of like figure out how he would do that. And they're like, no. It's like it's not a thing. And I was like, cool. So the fun thing was I got to put in little things. So basically what Darren did was, because I wasn't allowed to do stunts, he recorded me and made essentially like a Bode Bible. So like we made like a small
Abodable.
yeah, it was it was like a kill box, and like so basically I could go around and do like dynamic entries and stuff going in doorways and show how with double guns I might do that and like what that looks like and where I'd position the guns and stuff. Like one of the fun things for me was like I would often have Bode have pretty far reach with one gun so he could like look down the sight, but then the other one would be in retention, right? It would be close up on the body. And one little fun thing I did was I like when you're in retention, if you've actually got a reciprocating slide and you hold the gun like this, that slide is gonna hit the body and possibly cause a misfeed, right? So you cant the gun, you turn it slightly so that the slide can reciprocate and not hit the body. And Bode does that naturally because I do that naturally. You know what I mean? So there are fun little moments like that where you see little things that even if they don't apply in this universe, people who do guns, for example, might be like, yeah, you know what I mean? That looks like a guy who knows what the he's doing. We didn't really get to explore it very much, but like, I talked to Darren about the idea of like, well, and also like dynamic entry, right? Like if you're doing a hard entry into a room, Bode can do that like full inverted and come in at high speed, like hot up to the ceiling, you know what I mean? And then use his force power to push off the wall and turn to be able to look at his blind corners. Like he can do stuff that you never see. You know what I mean? And that was like signature stuff that I was like, if we ever get to do this, like I built a whole combat library of how I thought Bode would move. And we never actually get to see it, which like totally bums me out, but actually also works with my headcanon. But I think when Bode is killing Jedi, he moves very differently. Like I made Bode, he's got this this armor on. He's a big dude and he's kind of bull in a china shop. Like he moves and like you can see the way his shoulders move. He's just a big dude.
Yeah.
But I based like his actual killing style more on like a silat. So like he becomes very still and his silhouette really closes. You know what I mean? But the idea for me was if Bode is killing Jedi, he's using Force Cloak. He has a short saber, right? Like that really like fits within his hand.
Yeah.
Bumps into you as you're crossing the street, activates the saber, enters into the thoracic cavity. It severs the aorta or any major nerve cluster in that species, right? It comes back out, cauterizes the wound as it does so, and he walks on. Because the hilt is up against the body, it covers almost all of the flash. So essentially, they bump into each other. Sorry, man. And he keeps going, and then the dude just collapses.
Yeah.
Right? He's giving no opportunity for that Jedi to save themselves because he's not in this for like. This is one of the things that I thought was really important. Like Vader, even when Vader fights, he fights like a knight.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a duel. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in dueling with you. I have a daughter to get home to.
Right.
I'm going to kill you before you even realize you're dead. I'm out. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difference with Bode. And you never see him fight that way because he's never trying to kill Cal Kestis. Everything about the way he's built in that final fight is built around the idea of like close quarters combat,
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was interesting about it was like, that's Dagan Gera's lightsaber, It's not Bode's. Because I think Bode's are meant to be concealable. Like when he can have them in his hand, and like, you won't necessarily realize he has it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Until he uses it. Because one of the things I wanted to play with is the idea that like if Bode ever fought with his actual sabers, he would spend most of his time with them off. So he would turn the grip And then as he's coming in, it would turn on. So you'd never be sure what side of the blade you're getting. Or you might go to parry a blade and there's no blade there because I don't have it on and I pass right past your guard and then I turn it on. You know, like I wanted him to have a combat style that is based around purely quick killing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how the combat style of Bode, for you making that combat style, is so it mirrors so well to Bode's fear, not necessarily fear, but his want to suppress people knowing that he does have force abilities as well. Where like him using a weapon is the exact same thing of not showing, oh, I have a blaster, or no, not showing something I have in my hand. But even if he doesn't have anything in his hand, he's still able to combat you, just like using the force. That is extremely cool because it's always like, yes, he has a blaster, yes, he has a saber, but he also has that secret third thing all of the time, which is I can move stuff with my mind. Like that is so incredibly cool.
Like one of the things I would have loved to have seen, but like we actually talked about it with the dev team because like I can't tell you how many times like Darren and like, you know, I'd be talking and Darren would be like, that's super dope. And like, you know, we'd go to the rest of the team, like Aaron and the crew, and they'd be like, that is super dope. I don't think Disney would let us do that. And also like, as gameplay is concerned, you would be unkillable because like, how do you block that? You know what I mean? Like players would hate the game because Bode would actually be just full on lethal, you know?
Yeah.
Because like for me, I wouldn't use force power to like slam walls on you and stuff like Vader. When you step in, I'm using force pull to pull your foot right before it hits the ground so that your foot is just slightly, I'm looking to uproot you so that you don't have the bearing to defend against my killing blow. You know, like I'm doing stuff like I'm looking to get into the clinch and then I'll use force pull or force tear to like break your finger so that it's harder for you to activate your lightsaber or hold your grip. Like I'm looking to do things that actually hamper your ability to survive CQB against me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so cool.
Dude, I want a Bode I just want a Bode game where you're just going around taking out targets now at this point,
like,
man.
What like it would be real. I would love to explore Bode surviving and on the run after Order 66.
Yeah.
Because at that point he's got nothing to lose. So you'd get to see all the stuff he can do. You know what I mean?
Need a Jedi assassin game.
Yeah, I mean, like I threw out the idea of like Bode can like throw the saber, you know what I mean? And then he rains shots at the saber to deflect. Like, so if you're undercover, he throws the lightsaber behind you, like he throws it past you, right? And then blah, 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 and he's using the blaster reflection off the saber to hit blind corners. You know, I was like, I think Bode does that stuff because he's a nasty dude. Like he's here to win. You know, he's not looking for that one-on-one confrontation. Like
that's insane.
Incredibly OP.
There's a bunch of stuff I'd love to, you know, have explored. Like when I like before I found out what the final fight was going to be, like one of the things I talked about was like, so what if Bode like rockets into the stratosphere, right? And then you just see the you know, you kind of see the flare of his jetpack and then it just turns off. And you hear nothing because he's falling, right? And then as he approaches the ground, he force pushes off the ground, triggers the jetpack. And so he literally, boom, right? And so he's taking that terminal velocity and turning that into a forward jet. And then you see, boom, you see the saber come out and he's just streaking at you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a blade that's coming at like Mach 8. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And they were like, super dope. He can't be cooler than certain Jedi, you know, certain Disney characters. Like,
I was about to say, it sounds like Bode needs to be in the Force Unleashed, is what it sounds like, man. Star Killer needs to be going up against Bode, man. That's crazy.
But like, you know, it's like one of those things where like, I designed him over like he is not like a Force mega power. You know what I mean? What he does is he uses his abilities like a scalpel versus using them like a Warhammer, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's surgical with how he uses the Force, but like really he is a hand-to-hand monster, you know, like, and I think if you get within his triangle, like you are in deep trouble.
Okay, I have to ask, just because this is something that we had talked about at Rebel Scum. We're talking about secret things that you have mixed into this character that just make Bode way more badass. I have to ask about the idea of the Arabesh sign language.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah. So the scene where Cal infiltrates the Imperial base, right, and like enters Bode's quarters and finds Kata there, and like helps her find her Mookie doll. It's something that like I've never like, I think I've actually talked about it maybe on like one interview or so, but like it's not like public knowledge.
Sure.
That was the first time I'd ever worked with Tajane. Tajane Turner is the just wonderful and brilliant actor who played Kata.
Mhm.
And that was really hard for me because she is like my entire reason for being. And I met her that day, essentially.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And like that was like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
You know, as far as like
Crazy.
working on set. Because if that relationship isn't like, if there's no bond there, if there's no chemistry there, we're in deep trouble.
Mhm.
And I wasn't worried about that because I mean, like, first of all, Tajane is like so top tier. She was so great, and I love her to pieces. But like we had no history,
Right.
you know what I mean? And so one of the things, I think we were like getting ready for our day, and you know, like you get your mocap suit on and all this other stuff. And so we had a little time while they were doing all the technical stuff, and I was kind of like really trying to figure out what we could do to build a bond that we're building, like we got to go in and
Right.
do this in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I think that Bode and Kata on the run, as a dad, I would have had to have told Kata at a very early age, you know, sweetheart, there are going to be times when daddy is going to say one thing and then he's going to do something else.
Right.
Mm.
And you need to be on it. You know what I mean? And I don't know how nerdy you guys are. Do you guys know R.A. Salvatore and like the Drizzt Do'Urden books and all this other stuff?
I know R.A. Salvatore because he wrote some Star Wars books, but I'm not familiar
Yep.
with those
Yeah.
books. Yeah.
So in some of those stories, and maybe not just R.A. Salvatore either, but like the Drow, these dark elves,
Yeah.
have a whole silent sign language that they use so that they can move and coordinate attacks in the dark. It's silently, right? So
Sure.
and I'd been like kind of playing with this idea of like, if Bode is talking to someone but Kata's there, how would he let her know without telling her that something else was going to happen? And so I decided like they would have come up with a sign language, you know, like gestures and moments that are like that he would have drilled and drilled and drilled with her till they are second nature.
Yeah.
And so when Bode first comes into the chamber and he says, you know, it's okay, Kata, you see his hand. It's actually like, I try not to watch myself too much if I can help it, but like I saw a clip and like you see Bode's hand kind of like just like it just looks like he like fidgets for a second. But like, so the Orabesh for like an O, right, is either like a trapezoid or like these double brackets.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I decided like, and then the K, I actually had to pull it up to make sure I was doing this right. The K is it's actually like the Japanese symbol for ko, right? So it's like up like this. So when I say like it's okay, Kata, in my hand goes right, okay,
Yeah.
right, and so I'm telling her what I'm saying is actually the truth, and so she comes over to me, right, and the really cool thing about doing that was, and I told her like, And what I love is I kind of like, because we had no time and it wasn't like we can go, okay, so like this is going to be this, and then you can sign this back. Like we had no time for any of that stuff.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to do some stuff. And I don't know what's going to happen, but like,
Yeah.
just, you know, and like, she was like, I'm on it. And so what happens is in that scene, Kata is like eerily tuned in
Yep.
to Bode. Like there's a very, like for a young girl, she's very serious, right?
Mhm.
Because she's looking for dad to give her instruction, right? And so there's a moment where I come around to put on her backpack, right? I've just put Mookie in the backpack and I go to put it on her and I'm kneeling there in front of her. So my body is shielding myself from Cal, right? And so on her thigh, while I'm sitting here talking to her, I drew a line in the direction of the door, right? And then with my other hand, I kind of put my hand on her thigh and then I squeezed and launched the table, right? So like
Yeah.
the thing for Bode to his daughter is we're going that way.
Yep.
And move, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And like, so the table is in motion and she's already gone. And like, no one's ever going to know, you know, that we were doing that. But like, there's a really like, I hope they capture it because it was kind of like, it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Like I'd be watching her, but like neither of us are actually looking at each other. I'm giving her instruction and I'm watching her just take in what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, and it made us like locked in a way that a young child should never have to be. You know what I mean? They should
Yeah.
never have to be like that. And B, it brought us a closeness that like there was no, I can't think of a better way to have like synthesized that without us having any history. And like crazy, insane props to Tajane for being like, send it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like there. It was awesome. And what I loved was we did the scene a bunch of times, and when it was done, like, you know, Cameron was kind of looking at us. He's like, we rocked that scene. You know what I mean? And it was like, hell yeah. Like, because nothing really exciting. There's no like big action in it. It's all just tension. You know what I mean? That kind of standoff, like, you know, he's my best friend. You know what I mean? We'll work things out, won't we, Cal? Like, and there's this like a very much like a, are we gonna draw? Like, what's about to happen here moment? And then that tension kind of, you see Cal kind of be like, I'm not gonna kill you in front of your daughter.
Yeah.
You know? and the scene continues, but like, what a cool, we'll keep that for a couple of chapters. But, spoilers. But I loved that we got to incorporate that, and like, you know, fans that don't watch this will never know. But from the little bit I've seen from like fan response, people really enjoy that scene.
Yeah, dude.
And I think the work that Tajane and I did to build that focus really makes a difference. And it's actually really heartbreaking because like she's too old, you know what I mean? She's grown up too soon.
Right.
And I think it kills Bode that this is what's happened to her because he couldn't find another way.
Right.
And that's part of the reason that this has to go down the way it does, because like he can't, like Kata can't have this life. She'll never survive this way. You know what I mean? And what happens when Bode eventually dies on a mission and she's alone? Like, and if she's force sensitive, now she's like groomed as a dog of the Empire from no way, you know? So like the only thing I have to ask of my best friend is like, I need to know that you are willing to go all the way, that you are willing to go all the way to protect the things you care about. Because if you can't, my daughter isn't safe with you.
Yeah.
And so to do that, you're going to give me the greatest gift I could ask for, you know? you're gonna take me out,
Yeah.
but I will push you there, you know.
Dude.
It's crazy. I
Sir-
mean,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. I've thought about when you had brought that up at Rebel Scum. I wasn't there initially when you were talking about it. I forget who it was. It was either you, Grayson, or it was either Chris, Nerd Squadron,
Oh,
who you
yes.
spoke to as well, who like came up and they were like, "Hey, did you hear it? About this?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, what's up?"
Oh,
And they started, and I was like, "What?" And I immediately, and Grayson, you were talking, you guys were speaking, and I immediately just went, "What's up?" and just booked it to the table because, okay, so we talked a little bit about it. I, not to get too much into it, but I work with kids for my day job. And a lot of those kids, they use ASL or speaking devices like an iPad or a talker or things like that to communicate and substitute their way of communicating. And I want you to know that since August, anytime I have ever done anything with ASL or using an iPad, I'm like, man, I hope I look as cool as Bird does doing any of this stuff. Like I can't, I truly don't go a day without doing, even like I work with young kids, poop.
Yeah.
Like even stuff like that, I'm like,
Yeah, buddy.
and they're like, I'm like, yeah, I'm boned right now, dude. It's so cool. And honestly, when you talk about the process of you being like, hey, I'm just gonna try some stuff. Like you're not necessarily gonna know what's gonna happen next, but please just do me the favor of reacting to what I decide in that moment is so dang cool knowing
Yeah.
that in the characters also having to do that as well of like I am dad, you're not going to know what I'm going to do in this moment, but you need to be able to react from my training of that. So that extra of knowing that you guys as actors in that scene are almost doing the exact same thing, that added context. I want you to know that you're like, when you say, you know, if fans don't watch this, they're not going to know. Truly, when it comes to this our best sign language stuff, I talk about it nonstop.
Yeah,
So if
That's
there's
awesome, man.
anybody who is weird enough to watch the two of us yap about Star Wars or talk to us at an event or whatever, and your name comes up or your characters come up, even if it's Rampart, even if it's something else, I'm like, well,
We'll
you know,
slide that in there.
you want to hear a cool fun fact where I kind of lean forward in my seat. It is so damn cool.
Yeah.
love
So
it,
yeah,
dude.
I had to bring it up. Honestly, if you ever come back on the show, I'm probably going to ask again just to hear it because it gives me goosebumps. But it's so damn cool. So I mean, honestly, throughout all of this conversation, and we've got a few more questions for you just to before we wrap up. The amount of care and analytical thinking that you bring to a character for somebody like myself, or I can speak for Grayson on this matter here. We love Star Wars and stuff like this so much that when we're watching for the weird droid in the back of a scene that is on screen for 2 seconds and we're like, oh, they're there because it's this year in the canonical calendar and we're on this planet, so it makes sense that their metal is this color, like that kind of thing. Knowing that you're doing that with your characters as well is so cool.
Yeah, dude.
I just we have more questions and this is the end of the interview, but thank you for caring as much as you do.
It's
because
sick.
it makes us who care, it makes us like, yes, he cares too. It's so dang cool, dude.
I definitely care, and it brings me a lot of joy. You know, like before I say anything else, let me say and Will, thank you for what you do for these kids. That means a lot to me. And
good guy.
You know, so we have a 2.5-year-old, and you know, for
awesome
the last year plus, we've done a lot of sign language. You know, it's awesome, and I'm so grateful to know that there are kids out there who have someone like you looking out for them.
Oh, dude, that means a ton. I'm also talking to them way more about Star Wars than other teachers at school are as well. So
I'll say it again.
Yeah, it's like when I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt and my Luke Skywalker tattoo is showing, and they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Well, in Return of the Jedi," and then I get to open behind this curtain, and I go Star Wars. But dude, that means a ton. I love doing it, but yeah, I mean, it's such a fun thing that I get to go to work and do that, and then during the day come back and be like, oh, I'm gonna talk to Noshir after this. Like, it's such a fun day that I get to have. But before we wrap up, we have a few rapid fire questions for you. However, we do have to talk about a game that literally just came out.
Yeah.
Grayson, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Honestly, this isn't really a question. I just want to say, dude, I'm so stoked that you're in Ghost of Yotei, man. It is great. So I have a friend, Keenan. I know you're listening to this. He works a lot with PlayStation, and we messaged about this as well. But we were such big fans of you and your other work. And I remember, of course, when like I'm a huge Spider-Man guy. So when you showed up, I was like, no way in hell this guy is Mysterio right now, bro. I was like, and then of course, Yotei was coming out and I was pumped for it. And he was like, he was kind enough to actually get me a code for the game, which I was like, dude, you don't have to do that. Yeah, it was, and I was like, and I literally had seen both you and Nelson Lee, because I believe he plays the snake, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He's so dope. That guy is so cool.
And obviously Will and I were big fans of Erica as well through Dimension 20, and of course all of the D&D pipeline stuff, and which you have been a part of as well. So cool. But for anybody who wants a Noshir fix, he plays a pretty awesome character in Yotei. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna say what. I'm just going to say go grab it and go to the Ishikari Plains as soon as you can, and you'll find out. It's really cool.
Dude, I appreciate the spoiler-free support. I really do. That's awesome.
Yeah,
man. Awesome.
Dude, we're fans, and we're going to pivot a little away from Bo, just center on you, and of course, you know Star Wars Ball, which makes us happy. I just want to know
nerd ball in general. Anytime you're like, I don't know how much nerds you are. Chris and I are like,
by the way, you dropping the Last of Us 2 thing, like that just blew my mind, because that's my favorite video game of all time. So
very cool.
Yeah. So, and I'm also like, I'm kind of a firearms kind of guy, like the tactical stuff. So I very much appreciate the meticulous nature that you put into that stuff. But
man.
For Star Wars specifically, just for you as a fan, is there a North Star character for you as Noshir, as you live your day-to-day life? Is there a character, even if you're not, maybe when Star Wars is more in the brain, to be like, this is a character to kind of live by, if that makes sense?
Oh, geez.
Take as much time as you need.
That's such a hard question, because there are so many incredible, like, and inspiring characters in the Star Wars universe. I think that's one of the things I love, is like Star Wars for me is really like modern myth. You know?
Yep.
And so many of those characters have just epic arcs. And my brain just completely... Give me 1 second. Oh my god, my brain...
Let me look at every Star Wars character.
Oh, I know exactly who I want. My brain is just literally like... vacated my head.
I'm excited now.
Okay, I'm not crazy. God damn, I don't even know why I bothered looking it up. I was like, I'm gonna say the wrong name. But I think Kanan Jarrus's journey is like super, super dope.
Dude,
are you, Grayson? Did you pay him to say that?
Yeah, I did not bribe him, bro. I've got my Kanan tattoo right here.
What? Wait, let me see.
Yeah, I actually got it.
Almost was on your butt. Oh, dude, yeah.
They got with the eyes, with the saber, the wolves going around the
that's
pauldron.
awesome, man.
Kanan is, I'm not kidding, the amount of times, and I want you to continue speaking on why Kanan is a North Star for you. The amount of times where I'm like, I feel like Kanan and Bode are so much of like two sides of like two sides of a different same coin, I guess, where it's like the one is kind of the obsession and one is the kind of the sacrifice.
Yes.
And yet they're anyway, I'm gonna get on a tangent. That was
I
did not think you were gonna say that. I'm so glad you did. Please continue.
I was not thinking, honestly, if at the end of this you guys text me both and they're like, yeah, you're getting punked right now, of course you said Kanan. Because the way I feel about Luke and Ahsoka, Grayson feels about Kanan. So if I had to like just guess, like, oh, what character would Grayson love for him to say right now? It would have been Kanan. That is insane. But please,
I love it.
that's just crazy.
The floor is yours. I'm done geeking out.
I just I think he's got so many amazing facets to him, right? Like he takes on like a father and a teacher role. He has to overcome an incredible adversity, right? And like obviously self-sacrifice, the doubt that he originally has in like, you know, being a Jedi and being on that course and like coming to own that destiny so fully that he goes out like in a way that would make every Jedi Master so proud of him. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that journey is so powerful. And like what I love is like he starts off not great at almost any of it. You know what I mean? Like he's not a great teacher at the start. You know, he has to learn patience. He has to learn grace. And like, I think the thing I took away from it is like, if you have the courage to put yourself out there and you have the will to know that you're not going to get it right, but that you're going to try the best you can. Even if you don't have like a guide or a teacher, you can find your way. You know what I mean? And I think that's like such an inspirational story for me. And like, yeah, there are so many echoes of Bode in there. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. He's an amazing character and like brilliantly acted. Like,
dude,
I think Star Wars animated storytelling for me really is like peak Star Wars, just because you can explore characters in a way that you'll never have the time for in feature film. You know?
Yep.
It's amazing. I'm so grateful to him for it.
Yeah, the animation and the video games, and this is not even just for Star Wars, but like are some of my favorite stories. And I was very, very thankful that I believe it was 2023 when Survivor came out, as well as Bad Batch Season 2, that I was like, we're just feasting right now, man. Like this, the amount of depth that they can go to. But regarding Kanan, I mean, that character, the way that character grasped me, I cannot say it better myself. Yeah, man, that's awesome. I'm so glad you picked that.
Grayson is going to be thinking about that for the rest of his life. Do you remember when Bodakuni said that he likes Kanan a lot? We're never not.
People are gonna. That Will is gonna DM me later and be like, "Bro, be serious. Did you actually pay him?" Like,
hey, I honestly like. There's going to be a time where I'm just going to look up at the ceiling and go, I think I was getting punked. Because if you had said, like,
I'll show you my text though. I promise. There's no Kanan Jarrus on there.
And the fact that you looked it up beforehand, I'm like, man, he really like Grayson really got some good stuff on this one. That is so awesome.
I'm so awful with names, and like I am like you know, this is for Star Wars and D&D. Like there are some folks out there who are just like, you know, well, actually on this date, like this thing happens on this planet and and like, you know, that's why you can't possibly be right-handed. I'm like, okay, like I'm not fighting you here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But also like that doesn't bring me joy necessarily. Like what I
Yeah.
find joy in is like the emotional truths and like
Yep.
and the stories, the characters, and like the things they make me feel. So like so often I'll be like I mean Nolan was a perfect example because I was like and I was like, oh, that bastard. Like, yeah, of course I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, makes me crazy.
Nerd recall is a superpower, but it
Ugh.
is also sometimes the thing that you shoot yourself in the foot with, where you're like, truly, I mean, I'm the same way. Grayson's better at it than me of like, well, in this comic, blah, blah, blah. And it'll take me a little bit. And I'm like, he's got like a blue face and he wears a white shirt. And Grayson will be like, yeah, it's this issue, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yep, that's it.
You know who's scary with that is Cameron.
Really?
Yeah. At least twice. So like literally on set for Survivor, they have a lore master from like Lucas, like you know, like who's literally there with like the pantheon of, you know, like it's like this, like, you know, I'm imagining this like massive tome like Gandalf was carrying. But literally, and of course I can't even remember what the moment was, but like we'll have a scene and something will happen and then, you know, they're like, okay, and then Cal, you say this thing, and I almost never saw Cameron like use the veto power that he definitely has, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he'd be like, no, and you know everything would be like, you know. And when I was first starting there, I was like, oh, what is this? Am I watching like Diva Cameron come out? No, I never saw that. It was like, no, well, because in Fallen Order, in this moment, in this chapter, you guys actually had me say this, and this, and that happens at this time, which means that chronologically, this would have happened, which means that in the world of, you know, the universe and where we're at today, I can't possibly have done this yet, or this event could not have happened yet. And literally, like, the dev team would be like, and like turn to the lore master, and lore guy would like come up on, you know, on the laptop and like they'd be like, yeah, and then everyone's like, what the hell was
That's
that? You know, like,
awesome.
That's so damn cool.
Yeah, like he's oh man, he's next level, dude.
It's crazy to me because I've got the opportunity to I met Cameron once and then I was actually at Lucasfilm a couple weeks ago and he showed up.
Yes!
Yeah, he just showed up at the Rebuild the Galaxy thing, and I was like, "What the hell was he doing here?" And that was I didn't like, you know, obviously you as an actor, there's so many characters, it's probably hard to pick one. But when he was there, he was like, Cal Kestis is probably my favorite character that I've ever played. I love him so much, and so when you said that, I was like, it's crazy to me because I'm like in my mind, I'm like, oh, they play so many characters. It's probably like, you know, this is a job or whatever, but I'm like, to hear that and to hear that story specifically is I'm like, again, back to the whole, like, the meticulous care that y'all were putting in these scenes is so damn cool, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, for Cameron, like, story is king, you know, like,
yeah.
And I love that. Like, I've definitely, it doesn't happen very often, but I've definitely worked with some stars, you know, or like, you know, number one on the call sheet, who they're objecting because they feel some moment doesn't make them look cool enough or whatever. And it's like, oh, but you don't understand. Like, if you allow this moment of vulnerability, the payoff is so great. Like, why are you not wrapping your brain around that? But I never saw that kind of stuff with Cameron. It was always sick. Well, but if I do that, I think it hurts the story in this way. You know what I mean? And like, even if the devs were like, for whatever reason, even logistically, we need this moment to happen or whatever. There was no like refuting what he was saying. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, objectively, everyone got it. Like, you know, you had to appreciate how carefully he protects Cal Kestis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild to see.
It's very cool. Cal Kestis had receipts, dude. Cal Kestis had receipts.
He certainly did.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
All right. Our final question. This is a question we like to ask all of our guests. It's a very short question that sometimes has a long answer. It's the reason we do these conversations, whether it's with a guest or whether it's just Grayson and I speaking about Star Wars. The question is, why do you love Star Wars?
I think one of the earliest memories I have was sitting in a theater. I have to assume it was a theater, and watching AT-AT's Storm Hoff.
Yeah.
And I think the scope of that, like the scale of it, and like, you know, my little brain was like I'd never, and I think like the vision and the world building that required and the awe it inspired in me. The other moment is like, you know, blasting through the forest of Endor on a speeder bike, and just like the exhilaration and like in both cases, the way those moments made me feel like has stayed with me forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Star Wars is really interesting because I feel like a lot of people like to pretend it's not true, but like George Lucas had a lot to say on the world and the way it is. And if you
Yep.
don't
Yep.
understand that is happening in Star Wars, you're either super dumb or like really trying hard to not see something that is
Yeah.
right there. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like I grew up loving Greek mythology and Roman mythology, and you know, any culture I could get my hands on, I would read about their gods and their demons and their monsters and their heroes. And Star Wars really is one of the best modern equivalents, I think,
Yep.
Yeah.
of that. I think for me, one of the reasons Vader strikes me so hard is because I have a past I'm really not proud of. You know, like I hurt a lot of people. I was not a good person, and I was very hurt myself. And like, if Vader can find redemption, then I know there's hope for me.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think especially being a father, some of the models of fatherhood I've seen from Star Wars, it's both what to do and what not to do, you know, and like
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
family that you are given and the family that you find, that you build along the way. And how oftentimes the latter is way more valuable than the former.
Right.
I think those are all lessons that I've really, really taken to heart. And I think especially because I never had aspirations, I don't think I dared to dream that I could be a storyteller and not like be homeless on the street somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not even that, like I just never dared to think that was something I could do.
Right.
You know? So that I'm now in a position where I not only get to tell stories that hopefully some young person somewhere sees that move them even a fraction of the amount that I was moved by Star Wars is crazy. And then that I get to actually tell stories in Star Wars is just like, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
I don't know. It's every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is still real. This is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
awesome,
man.
dude.
So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it is. We have done a lot of episodes of this show, and we've talked to a lot of people. And Grayson and I talk about Star Wars more than we talk about literally anything. We started a podcast because I was saying this to somebody else earlier. We could probably do 7 other podcasts with just the amount of time that we spend talking about Star Wars and story and character just during our day. And
I love it, dude.
truly,
I love it.
meeting you at Rebel Scum to now this and this specific conversation, this has been one of the most enjoyable, and
Yes.
this is truly the reason why we wanted to start this
Mhm.
show. So not only thank you for taking the time to speak with us after a month and a half of whatever was going on every week to try and get you to speak with us, because every week it was like a weird scheduling thing, not your own, ours. but we finally were able to get you, and I truly could not be more grateful that you took the time to speak with us and speak with us about the things that you did. It means a ton to us. This is why we love Star Wars, dude.
And I'm gonna cut Will off too, because I don't want it to drag on too long. But for me, as someone who is a fan of yours beyond Star Wars, a fan of Star Wars, a fan of what you've done, I completely second what Will said. This has truly been one of my favorite discussions we've ever had on this show. You have been so insightful. You have been so endearing. You've been so passionate. All of the things. I could sit here and just list the whole, rotary.
We're going to be gushing about this episode for a long time.
Yeah. So again, not to brown nose or be a kiss ass or anything, but truly, thank you for being on here. Thank you for what you do, and just thank you for taking the time to come on,
dude. Like one of the things I've learned is like time is not our most valuable asset, right? It's attention, and I'm as passionate, maybe not in a intellectual way, but I am definitely as passionate about Star Wars as you guys are, and the chance to like sit down and talk about something that I love with you guys is awesome. Like that you take the time to talk to me about that stuff is like that's crazy, I think it's awesome. I'm so flattered, and I get very nervous talking about stuff like this. I'm like generally a pretty shy person, but you guys created a space that was like super fun and super supportive for me, and
cool.
I'm so grateful. I love it, dude. I love what you guys are doing,
man. Dude, that means a ton. That is the hope. That's the goal. So coming from you, that we're glad that is always the aim. Is again, like I said before, it's supposed to be fun, and so talking about this stuff is fun, and then it's the super nerds that we all are. I could not be happier, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah. Me too.
Dude, thank you so much for your time. We talked a lot. People are really going to enjoy listening to this episode. Like I said, just thank you for being on. If you are listening right now, thank you so much for listening. Go play the game that Noshir is in right now.
Go play Ghost of Yotei. Go play Red Dead Redemption 2, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Go play Jedi Survivor. Go play just
any game. Probably in it, which is crazy. I feel like if we talked for every 15 minutes, if we brought something up, it'd be like, well, actually, and I'm like, that too.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful.
And that extends beyond Noshir as well. I'm sure you would say the same thing, that so many performance capture artists and actors and voice actors, the whole pantheon that makes those games happen are deeply passionate as you, which is why the medium of gaming is one of my all-time favorite storytelling mediums. So if you're not,
if you don't mind, I am going to say one thing also.
Of course,
the dev teams are as passionate, if not more so, than I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so you can think whatever you want about a game, but like one of the things that just really bothers me, I think because it hurts me when I hear, is when fans will accuse a team of being lazy. You know, I promise you that is never the case. There's a bunch of stressors and restrictions and other things coming from up on high that you have no idea about, but that team that is working on that project loves it and is killing themselves to tell the best version of it that they can, right. And I always have to make sure I say that, because it's true,
Agreed.
Completely agreed. It is no joke. And as far as I know, the people that I've been lucky enough to meet who make those to make games, they truly want it to be the best possible thing that it can be. So
and they kick their own butts to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. It's insane. I have so much respect for
absolutely.
Yeah, no, truly. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Determined Focus. Thank you so much for listening along. If you're listening, if you're watching, thank you for being with us. Grayson, we got anything to add before we end up?
We certainly do not. Thank you for watching. And as always, your focus determines your reality.
Bye-bye.
Always remember,